Welcome to the Globe Food Equipment training session for the S-Series slicers. Globe slicers are designed to provide safe and productive processing of food products. Unless the operator is adequately trained and supervised, there is a possibility of serious injury. Globe has provided this training video only as a supplement to the owner and operator's instruction manual. Make sure the manual is available for easy reference by any operator. Remember, owners of this equipment bear the responsibility to ensure the equipment is used properly and safely and in accordance with any local, state, and federal law. Topics for this training session include key components of the slicer, slicer installation, operating instructions, cleaning instructions, knife sharpening, slicer maintenance, and optional accessories. The key component portion of this video is to help you become familiar with your Globe slicer. Features include the carriage, also known as the food chute where product is held. The end weight attached to the slide rod holds product in place. The meat grip, adding product stability. The indexing knob, which controls slice thickness. The control panel for easy-to-read, confusion-free operation. The receiving area, which holds sliced product. The sharpener, stored on the slicer for convenience. The knife, designed for precision slicing. The ring guard, to reduce operator injury. The knife cover, easy to remove and easy to clean. And the slicer table, which guides product into the knife. If you have not already installed your Globe slicer, refer to the owner's manual for the proper installation instructions. Globe recommends that you clean the slicer before using for the first time. Once the slicer has been cleaned, plug the slicer into a properly grounded 3-prong outlet and you are ready to begin slicing. Please note, when the slicer is plugged in, the power indicator light will illuminate. Make sure the slicer is turned off and the slicer table is completely closed by rotating the indexing knob clockwise past 0 until it stops. Make sure all knobs are tightened before using the slicer. Pull the carriage completely towards you. Move the end weight and meat grip off the back of the carriage. Place the product onto the carriage and set the end weight against the product. Rotate the indexing knob counterclockwise to the desired setting. Press the start button on the control panel and begin slicing in manual mode. When you are finished slicing in manual mode, press the stop button on the control panel and return the carriage to the home position. To slice in automatic mode, move the auto engage lever into the automatic position, select the speed and stroke length, and press the start button. When finished slicing, press the stop button, move the auto engage lever to manual, and pull the carriage to the home position. If you are using the SG13A model, the carriage will return itself to the home position. The slicer will not start if the knife cover is not on or the carriage arm is not secured. The control panel will display a flashing green light for the S13 model. Completely close the slicer by rotating the indexing knob clockwise past 0 until it stops. On the SG13 and SG13A models, closing the slicer table will stop the knife. Remove the product from the carriage. For your safety, when changing product, turn the slicer off, make sure the carriage is in the home position, and close the slicer table. Your slicer must be disassembled, cleaned, and sanitized a minimum of every 4 hours. Do not hose down or pressure wash the slicer or any slicer parts. Never use a scrubber pad, steel wool, or any other abrasive material on the slicer. Use commercially available quaternary ammonia sanitizers. Use a moist handy wipe to clean your slicer. Make sure to always wring out excessive water before cleaning. It is important that you always wear mesh gloves during the entire cleaning procedure. To begin the cleaning procedure, make sure the slicer is turned off. Completely close the slicer by rotating the indexing knob clockwise past 0 until it stops. Move the auto engage lever to manual and pull the carriage to the home position. Unplug the slicer. Loosen the carriage release knob to tilt the carriage arm for cleaning. Remove the meat grip by removing the slide rod. Take the meat grip and slide rod to the sink for cleaning. Pull the knife sharpener up and away to remove from the slicer. Take the knife sharpener to the sink for cleaning. To remove the knife cover, push down the release lever and pull the knife cover forward to remove it from the top locator pin. Take the knife cover to the sink for cleaning. To clean the knife ring guard, insert a nylon brush into a mild detergent and warm water solution. Work the brush along the outer edge of the knife. Also, work the brush along the entire back side of the knife. Next, insert a handy wipe in a mild detergent and warm water solution. Wring out excessive water and carefully wipe the knife from the center of the knife outward. Make sure you clean the back of the knife as well. Also, wipe the slicer table by starting at the knife and wiping away from the blade. Clean the carriage and table. Using a handy wipe and clean water, wipe down all components of the slicer. Apply sanitizer solution with a saturated cloth or spray bottle. Retrieve the cleaned, sanitized, and dry knife cover, knife sharpener, and end weight slide rod from the sink. To properly kill bacteria, allow the sanitizer on all parts of the slicer to air dry before reassembling. Reinstall the knife cover. Align the knife cover with the pins located at the bottom and one at the top of the knife guard. Reinstall the meat grip and end weight slide rod. Reinstall the knife sharpener into its storage position. Secure tilted carriage back in proper position and tighten knob. Your globe slicer has a kickstand on the manual model or a lift lever on the automatic models, which raises the slicer to allow cleaning underneath. For manual models, lift the front of the slicer to drop the kickstand into place. For automatic models, pull the lift lever knob toward you while you gently lift up on the front of the slicer. After cleaning the counter area under the slicer, gently lower the slicer back to its operating position. Plug the slicer in. It is important to sharpen the slicer knife every 2 days for 5 seconds to provide consistent slices and maximize food product yield. Sharpening the knife lightly every few days is more effective than heavy sharpening at less frequent intervals. Make sure both sides of the knife are clean and dry before sharpening. It's also very important that you clean the stones before sharpening. To begin the knife sharpening procedure, make sure the slicer is turned off, the slicer table is completely closed by rotating the indexing knob past 0 until it stops, and the auto engage lever is in the manual position if using an auto unit. Move the sharpener to the sharpening position. Press the start button on the control panel to turn on the knife motor. Pull the knife sharpening handle toward you to bring the stones into contact with the knife. Maintain pressure on the knife sharpener handle for 5 seconds. Release the knife sharpener handle after the 5-second period. When knife sharpening is complete, turn the slicer off by pressing the stop button on the control panel and unplug the slicer. Rotate the sharpener back to its storage position. You will need to clean the slicer after the knife sharpening process in order to remove debris. After cleaning, plug the slicer back in. The key to slicer maintenance is making sure various slicer parts are lubricated periodically using globe oil. Globe oil is a light, tasteless, odorless mineral oil that will not impact food product. The oil is available in 3 different sizes: 4 ounce, 1 quart, or 1 gallon. A 4 ounce bottle is included with each slicer. You should never use vegetable oil to lubricate the slicer. Using vegetable oil will damage the slicer. To begin, make sure the slicer is turned off, the slicer table is completely closed, and the auto engage lever is in the manual position. Remove the knife sharpener from the slicer. Apply several drops of globe oil to the exposed shaft of both sharpening stones. Pull the knife sharpener handle several times. Lubricate the end weight slide rod weakly or when excessive drag is felt by applying a few drops of globe oil to it. Distribute the oil with your fingers and then lift the end weight up and down several times. The vegetable hopper converts your slicer into an efficient, heavy-duty vegetable slicer. The slaw tray catches sliced product to accommodate large quantities of prepped vegetables. The food fence holds products securely on the carriage. This concludes the Globe training session for the S-Series slicers. Detailed instructions for the items reviewed in this video can be found in the owner's manual. Globe truly appreciates your business, and we are confident that your new slicer will provide you with years of reliable service.